اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما يا فتاح يا عليم افتح لنا فتحا قريبا آمين يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مخارج الحروف, the articulation points. Inshallah ta'ala, in today's session, we will cover the Makhraj al-Huruf today. What does Makhraj al-Huruf mean? Makhraj is the plural of the word Makhraj, which means a place of exit. And articulation points means Makhraj al-Huruf, the exit place of a letter where the sound cuts off or stops is the articulation point. So wherever in the body, in our body, the organs of speech that we use for producing the sound of the letter would be considered as the articulation point. So we have these 5 main areas of articulation point for the letters, which is broadly divided into 5 categories. Number 1, the empty space in the mouth and throat. In Arabic, we say Al-Jawf. Number 2, the throat. It's called Al-Halq in Arabic. The tongue, Al-Lisan. The 2 lips, Ash-Shafatan. And number 5, the nasal cavity, Al-Khayshum. Now these are the 5 main categories or the sites of the articulation points. Each makhraj has a specific makhraj for the letters. So let's see the main makhraj. Let's see how many that particular area contains how many makhraj in it. For example, we have Al-Jawf. Al-Jawf is 1 makhraj for the 3 letters. So it means that we use this 1 makhraj for producing or saying the 3 letters from there. Al-Halq has 3 makharij for the 6 letters, Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, Ghain, Kha, and Al-Lisan has 10 makharij for 18 letters. Ash-Shafatan has 2 makharij for 4 letters. Al-Khayshum has 1 makhraj for the ghunna of the letters, which is Noon and the Mim, so the 2 letters. All the 28 or 29 letters come from these 5 major areas. Now these major areas, as I said, have further divided into the detailed makharij. We will learn it inshallah slowly. This is an image showing that through these arrows it indicates that this is Al-Khayshum, means the nasal cavity. Al-Jawf, we have 2 arrows indicating the throat and the mouth, the empty space of the throat and the mouth. Al-Halq is just this part, which is the throat. Al-Shafatan means the 2 lips. Al-Lisan, the tongue, and Al-Isnan, which are you can see as the 2 extra. Al-Asnan means the 2 teeth. Al-Hanaq al-A'la, the palate. Just consider the 5 main the areas of articulation points. We'll learn about al-Hanaq al-A'la or the palate inshallah in next session slowly. There are difference of opinion amongst the scholars as to the total number of makharij. The majority of the scholars, they accept, including Imam Ibn al-Jazari, who has this opinion that the total number of the makharij are 17. However, there is a minority opinion, which include the opinion of Imam Sibawayh and Imam Ash-Shatibi, who count the total makharij of the letters as 16. The reason being, they differ with Imam Ibn al-Jazari is that they do not count Al-Jawf as a separate makhraj. According to these scholars, the makharij, the Al-Jawf has the mud letters coming from it, they count the letters waw madiyya and ya madiyya just like the ghair madiyya letters, the waw and the ya. And we know that the letters ya has a makhraj, which is the center of the tongue, coming close to the palate, and then the letter waw, which is from the lips. So these are the non-mad letters. However, Imam Sibawayh and Imam Shatibi, they are of the opinion that just like we have waw mutaharika, ya mutaharika, non-mad letters coming from their makharij, which is from not coming from the al-jawf. So for the mad letters as well, they count the same makhraj and do not count al-jawf as a separate makhraj for them. According to Imam al-Farra and Imam Qutrub, these scholars count the total makharij as 14. Now again, they do not count al-jawf as a separate makhraj, and also consider the lam, noon, and the ra coming from one makhraj rather than from 3 different makharij for them. So this is based on their scholarly opinion. They were grammarians, expert in the Arabic language, and hold these different opinions. We will go by the opinion which is the majority opinion and include the opinion of Imam Ibn al-Jazari, and will consider the total makharij of the letters as 17, inshallah ta'ala. We have the makharij divided into 2 types. For example, a makhraj can be approximate place, or it can be a certain place. So the names which is given for these 2 places or the types of makharij is makhraj al-muqaddar and makhraj al-muhaqqaq. The makhraj al-muqaddar, which is the approximate place, are the 2, the nasal cavity and al-jawf. As you can see, the nasal cavity and the empty space in the mouth of the throat, the makhraj is really very vast. You cannot pinpoint that this letter is coming from this particular certain place. The makhraj is not specific, it's not certain, it's just an approximate. So the makhraj, the sound of the letter, it passes through the whole passage. Yeah, it passes through the whole passage. It's not coming from one particular certain place. Therefore, the makhraj is categorized as an approximate place. Opposite to that, we have a makhraj muhaqqaq, which means a certain place. So majority of the letters come from this type of a makhraj. That includes the throat, the letters that come from the throat, the letters that come from the lips, and the letters that come from the tongue. We can actually pinpoint that this letter, the sound is coming from this certain place, this specific place. How to find the makhraj of a particular letter? So you need to follow these 2 steps. Number 1, make the letter sakin. So whatever the letter you're trying to practice, you're trying to learn the makhrajis, just put a sukoon on it, write the letter, make it sakin, and then put a hamza before it, and now try to pronounce it. You'll see wherever the sound cuts off or stops, that would be the makhraj of the letter. So here I've used the letter ba, for example, and I put the hamza before it, and if I say ab, I'll see the sound is stopping at my lips. That means the lips is the makhraj for the letter ba, because the sound is cut off or is stopped at this place. Likewise, you can try with all other letters and try to understand where the sound of the letter is stopped at. Make sure you do not bounce the letter in the beginning, because if you're trying to find the makhraj and if you're bouncing the letter, it means you are letting the sound go off and you will not be able to find it exactly from where the makhraj of the letter is and where the sound is stopping at. For example, the letter ba has this quality of qalqala or bouncing, and if I bounce the letter ab, which would be a right pronunciation or reading of the word, but I will not be able to find its makhraj until I separate its quality of the qalqala and do not bounce it just for the sake of finding its makhraj and read it like ab, 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 and I'll be able to tell the sound is stopping at my lips. Therefore, this is the makhraj of the letter ba. You can apply with the ta, at, as, aj, like that, inshallah ta'ala. Now we'll learn about the makharij in detail and know more about them. So since Al-Jawf was the first major area of the articulation point, and we can see this was the makhraj muqaddar, means approximate place. We cannot pinpoint at a certain area, at a certain place that the letter is coming from, and we can see that this indicates this is an A. Yeah, this is an A. So the whole of al-halq and the empty space of the mouth, this is a very vast area of the articulation point for the three letters. We call it alif madiyya, ya madiyya, and waw madiyya. They come along with their respective harakas. Yeah, they're all sakin letters. You cannot pronounce them on their own. These needs to be attached to another letter before it that carries its respective haraka. For example, the letter alif should always have a fatha before it. The letter ya should always have a kasra before it, and likewise the waw madiyya should always have a waw before it. A dhamma before it. So these themselves are sakin and they have their respective harakas before it. We got an example here. Iyaka, iyaka, we can see the alif, which is the mud letter, a long vowel, has a fatha before it. And the sound of ya is prolonged, it's elongated or lengthened because I have a mud letter alif after it. So you cannot pronounce alif on its own. You need to attach it to another letter before it and then make the sound of that letter long. So I know the letter ya, which is ya mutaharika, comes from the center of the tongue. So once that pronunciation is done, once the sound is released from the place of its makhraj, and now the elongation happens, it takes place from this area, which is very vast. And if I try to make it longer for the sake of explaining to you guys, I'll say ya, ya. So once the ya is released from its makhraj, the elongation is taking place from this area now. And it's not stopping until I stops it. Yeah, the makhraj is really very fast. It's really very vast. You cannot say, this sound is cut off or stopped at this place, because it's not until I make it stop. So I have to make it 2 harakat long or 2 counts long, because the rule says if you have mad letter in this condition, it's mad tabi'i, making it only 2 harakat long. You cannot go over it, the timing. But for the sake of practice and knowing the makhraj, you can try with any letter, inshallah ta'ala. So this is an alif, mad alif. We have another shape for the letter mad alif, which is a mini alif, alif saghira, you can call it. This is also very much like this, the bigger size of an alif. You need to treat it the same way. So just like I stretched the letter ya, iyaka, for 2 harakat or 2 counts, I need to make the maliki for 2 harakat long in Hafs and Asim riwaya. So ma, stretching, mim is being stretched because I have a mad alif after it. So maliki. So once the sound is released from my lips, ma, the sound for the meme is coming from the lips. Once it is released from its makhraj, now the elongation will take place, as I said, from the empty space in the throat and the mouth. So these are the different shapes for alif. So this is the reason I gave these examples here. One shape is this long alif, you can see in the longer form. This is the mini alif. Very much treated the same way. There's no difference in pronunciation. This letter is also an alif. Yeah, this is called alif maqsura. The difference between this letter and this alif is that this alif can appear anywhere in the word, except it doesn't appear in the beginning of the word. It always comes after a letter, obviously. So it can come at the end of the word or in the middle of the word. However, this alif maqsura always comes at the end of the word. And it looks like the letter ya, but how would you know this is a ya or this is alif maqsura? So you can remember that this letter, which is here as well, wa, doesn't contain any symbol, any sign, any haraka, not even a sukoon, and there should be a fatha on the right side. So this would be meeting the criteria or the condition, which is the same like here, like an alif. So there is a fatha and there is alif after it. Sometimes you'll find this mini alif sitting on top of it, but some other times, maybe in another place, you might not find this mini alif like here. Therefore, for you to remember is that this letter is all empty, no haraka, no sakin, no sukun on it, and there is a fatha on the right side. Now stretch that fatha for 2 counts or 2 harakat. So these will be read like طغى, طوى. You need to make it long. You need to know the positioning of the tongue for the letter alif, yeah, for making it for lengthening the sound of the letter to which it's attached to. Alif is a letter. In the previous sessions we learned that this is from the letters of istifal, means these are the light letters. Alif, lam and ra are the light letters, but they can be heavy in certain situations, in certain circumstances. So alif follows the rule to which it follows the rule of the letter to which it is attached to. For example, the letter alif is, if it's attached to the letter which is a light letter, a muraqqaq letter, which has a tarqiq, a light sound, alif will become light. Yes, this will become light now. Here, in iyaka, alif is light. So I'll tell you that to pronounce the alif light, just relax your tongue. You do not need to smile. You do not need to take your corners of your lips towards your cheek. Just keep it normal and keep the tongue relaxed and flat. And open it with the fatha and then make a pronunciation. Iyaka, iya. If I say iyaka, alif will become heavy. So we need to, this is the makhraj for the letter alif, that we relax our tongue. Yeah, we need to relax our tongue. Again, as I said, alif follows the rule of the letter to which it is attached to. If the letter before it is a light letter, it is a muraqqaq letter, alif will become muraqqaq. And if it is mufakham, the alif will become mufakham as well, like here, tagha. Ghain is a heavy letter. It has a tafkhim, it has isti'la, and alif will become mufakhama as well. So what do we need to do now? Students, what do? Is they do remember the heavy letters, but they forget that they need to apply this heaviness all the way through. Like if it's a stretched heavy letter because of the mud letter coming after it, especially in case of alif, they need to make it long. Not only a mufakham, the tafkhim, they need to apply not only the tafkhim of the harf isti'ala, but also the alif as well, because alif follows the letter to which it is attached to. So instead of saying tagha, tagha, you're keeping the ghain heavy and then making the alif light would be wrong. You need to keep it all the way heavy. Tagha, tagha. So keep the position of the tongue such, the same as you did it for the ghain, for example. So we know that for making a letter heavy, we need to raise it from the back. We need to raise the tongue from the back towards the palate and curve it, concave it from the middle to bring an echo sound in the mouth. Yeah, the sound is filled in the mouth with the heaviness of the letter. So we need to maintain that, inshallah ta'ala. Then we have mad letter ya. الذي, I got an examples here. الذي نذير اللطيف. Again, we need to make it to harakat long. In this case, ya, as I said, how it's different. You can see this ya is also empty, no haraka, no sakina on it, but there is no fatha. Instead, it has a kasra before it. So the letter ya, maddiya, will be stretching the sound of the letter which comes before it with the kasra under it. So once I say the dal is coming from its makhraj. So once the sound is released from its makhraj, now the stretch is taking place from empty space in the throat and the mouth. The lengthening will depend on the air that is passing through this empty passage of this area. So الذي, and if I lengthen it more just to find the makhraj, this is how it looks like. The makhraj for the dhal is from the front part of the lips, from the front part of the tongue touching the edges of the upper front two teeth. Once it's released from its makhraj, extra lengthening is taking place from this empty place. The position for the tongue for the letter madya would be that we need to raise it from the middle. Do not touch it to the palate. Al-hanak al-a'la, do not touch it. Just raise it, bring it close to the palate. For example, we say ay. Do not press too much on the ya. Yeah, the makhraj of the letter ya. Do not press too much on it. Ay, that's wrong. Likewise, alladhi, that's wrong again. We need to be gentle with the mud letters. Alladhi, and make it complete kasra sound with the stretch as well. Make a complete kasra sound for the letter dhal, for example, here, and make it long. Alladhi, the, inshallah ta'ala. We have nadhirun, stretch it for two harakat again. The makhraj, as I said, is for the kasra, you would lower your jaw a little, and then raise the tongue from the middle for the letter ya. Okay, nadhirun, inshallah. Al-latifun, the same thing. For the letter madwaw, فستعلمون مون ويقولون كفروا. The wow, the madwaw, stretches the sound of the letter before it that has a dhamma on it. Now the makhraj, I know the sound is coming from Al-Jawf, but obviously you need to round your lips. Yeah, you need to round your lips, and then the tongue from the back would be raised. Mu, the sound, as I said, is coming from Al-Jawf, but the position of your lips and the tongue would be where the lips is fully rounded and it is raised from the back. We'll make it 2 harakat long in this case, unless and until we have conditions or the reasons that comes after the mud letter that meets those conditions for extra lengthening, 4 harakat, 6 harakat. We'll learn it inshallah once we cover the mudud, inshallah ta'ala. This was Al-Jawf. So in today's session, we learned about the makhraj and its importance. We will not be able to recite the letters of the Quran correctly unless we know the articulation points, unless we learn which letter comes from which place. Yeah, every letter has its makhraj. We need to find its makhraj, we need to practice it, try listening to the sounds and understand it with the theory. Yeah, the practical side of the tajweed and the theoretical side of the tajweed goes hand in hand. As I said, we will not be able to, in our adult life, when we are struggling with our pronunciation, especially, apply those sounds correctly until we know the makharij. And the makharij is the fundamental to the science of tajweed. So it is that important. Inshallah ta'ala, in the next session, we will cover al-halq. So today we did al-jawf, the first main area. In the next session, inshallah ta'ala, we'll cover al-halq and we'll see what letters come from there and how we'll pronounce it. So This is all for today inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.